exactly. It's like anything would have been better than just nothing. But
Who knows what you're talking about since I just did the record. Anything
Ad
would be better than nothing.
Astra,
That was
not a
nothing.
fan.
Hmm.
Okay, I just
That's what I
wanted to
got.
call it out
That's
for
what I got when I
nobody.
brought up that I had watched it on a chat last week. Someone was like, "I'm sorry." It's like I watched that Astro. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I don't feel sorry when it definitely the effects are worth watching. Just
I
wait.
I like the part where the moon is like a shitty mall. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. That's cool. I mean, they don't stay there very long, but
No,
but I
but
like the weird, just like half the movie's just like kind of traveling, and then he kills that crew like accidentally and violently.
yeah.
Like it felt like he actually did commit a horrible crime. I expected they were gonna arrest him when he got back.
Is that movie kind of like Lost in Translation, but for space?
Why?
I don't know, because it's like kind of navel gazy and nothing really happens.
No, because I like Lost in Translation pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's a better movie than Ad
The
Astra.
soundtrack helps there too. Well, that Astro didn't have a bad soundtrack, but yeah, Lost in Translation
Mm.
has a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, and you get to think about how what Bruce Willis
You mean Bill Murray?
almost, but that was based on Bruce Willis though.
Oh, you mean the situation's based on Bruce Willis? Okay,
Like it was almost banged up Sophia Coppola or whatever, I
right.
guess.
I just think it's yeah. I just think it's interesting that that has Kevin Shields like only solo song ever, like with vocals or whatever. I
Maybe
don't
he'll
think
put out a solo album in like 2055.
right. Because that City Girl's the only solo song he's done, right? I mean, and then he did like
I
a few bits of incidental music for that
That
movie.
band makes me those people make me insane. Like I swear I heard something like My Bloody Valentine is gonna actually put out another album, and that I think that was already like 7 years ago.
Yeah, same here. Like after that last album came out, which was great by the way.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
enjoyed it. It
but
was I'm
they're like
open to more.
they're like, oh, we'll do a few EPs, like the past albums had, right? But that never happened. That would have been fine if they just done a couple
Well,
EPs after that. That
well,
would
they
have been
talked about
satisfying
doing
enough.
EPs before that too. They
Right.
talked about I guess I can't really talk if anyone likes my music, they haven't heard anything for years.
And
So
then it took well, I've heard mine. And then it took like
yeah.
10 years for those remasters to come out after they were announced.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? We were looking for them in
I
like
do remember that. We
2003 and they didn't show up till like 2013.
we literally thought thought they it was I feel like we went to the store to get them thinking they were like out,
I think that's
or maybe I
correct.
did.
No, I remember, I think I remember doing that in the Talking Heads reissues too. Those, which weren't as delayed as the Valentine's ones, but they showed up late and then I never bought them.
Well, man, remasters are such a I I don't know how you feel about this, but it's like as I get older, I kind of like
I've
don't like remasters.
I've quit caring. Also, I go around and to used shops and just I'll buy like a CD from the late 80s, right? That probably had
Yeah,
a remaster later. It's like, oh, whatever.
it's like there were like Big Black and stuff like Big Black finally got remasters for everything, and it's like and listen and Jesus Lizard, and I'm listening to them, I'm like, ah, this sounds kind of bad.
Yeah, I
I
mean, if
can't
it
even put
wasn't,
my finger on why.
yeah, yeah. There's certain albums where I don't like the remasters as much. I mean, they remixed all the Beatles, and that stuff was good. Well, not all, but all the later Beatles stuff, and that was pretty good. The remixes helped a
Yeah.
lot. Like Abbey Road sounds a lot better remixed, not going through a transistor board, I guess, is how it happened or whatever. I don't know, but
Uh,
it's just the modern mixes are better, I think. Sergeant Pepper
yeah,
now has a stereo mix that kind of resembles the mono mix, so that's nice.
I think it kind of depends. Like maybe remasters that were done, like remasters that were done 10 or 20 years ago, were kind of like something's going on now where everybody's entering the loudness war or something like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like not
There's
working out for people.
because
Like you
like
can't.
the Birds, they put out the Birds in the 90s and they remixed them and the mixes were not they were like modern mixes. They weren't like 60s mixes. And then in Japan I got the vinyl
Yeah.
ones which have remastered versions of the 60s mixes and those are like way better.
Well, and there are people who absolutely hate the raw power. Like I guess that's a remix
Yeah, that's a remix.
from
I do like the well I also that I first heard the later version, so that probably helps.
yeah, me too.
So and
Because it
I'm
was
like
hard to find the original actually, but
right. So then when you hear that, there's like, why is there no bass here? Same thing with the Justice for All, the Metallica album, which I don't. That still sounds like shit, doesn't it?
Actually, I've listened to the version with the bass turned up. I have yeah, I don't think that can sound good. I think it always sounds bad.
Okay.
I'm that's controversial. I think a lot of people do like that album.
I
I
barely listen to that
honestly
album because of the bass thing.
I think it always sounds bad, and I think most of the songs on that album are bad.
No, at the end of the day, if I'm going to listen to any Metallica, it's one of the first three albums. But the
Yeah,
remasters those do sound good. So because they're bassy and those sound great. But yeah, I don't think I
yeah.
have any interest in post Puppets Metallica at all.
Well, it's a weird thing where apparently, part of why it already sounded like the bass wasn't in it was because like that guy was just playing the same thing that James Hetfield was playing, which is like kind of a fundamentally stupid way to play bass.
Yes. Also,
So
isn't he kind of like I mean he's got like his bass on that like not instead of
yeah,
like when I
it's
play bass I try and low end theory it, but I'm a lot of metal bands will have like kind of that trebly clangy bass, which sounds not great.
I think it's partly his fault. I think it's partly the bass player's fault. That might be like
Because
a
I gave him
new
a bass
theory.
solo or two, he sounded great, right? So it's not like
Maybe
couldn't
he's
play the
just
thing.
bad. Maybe they just hired someone who's maybe he's not good. I don't know.
And now he flies out a butt window and you can't say anything bad about him anymore.
Wait, he's dead?
No, I'm talking about the original bass player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they clearly were like jerks to him or whatever, but it's like I don't know. I didn't
Oh, you
like
mean the second guy, right? Yeah.
the second guy.
Yeah.
Or wait,
Jason
the guy who
Jason
was on Injustice for All. I think he was
Oh, okay. I was
maybe he
talking
was
about Cliff
bad.
Burton. You're talking about Jason
No,
Newsted,
no,
is it? Yeah,
no.
okay. I think
Jason
Jason New
Newsted.
yeah, he probably
Maybe
wasn't
he
that
is just
great.
bad
I think
because
he might
like
have just been bad.
I didn't like the Black Album at all. So like I don't know. Maybe it's his fault.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
he was
his
just
fault. Let's
bad.
blame it on him. Now they got what's his name playing the bass of Doom in there. So,
What the different guy?
yes, like Robert Trujillo or something of the suicidal tendencies has,
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
apparently
right.
possesses the restored version of Jacko's bass now and plays that.
Metallica. They searched was Jason Newsted bad?
Hmm.
It's actually funny that Metallica producer explains Jason Newsted's problem, and then Metallica reveal why they disrespected Jason Newsted. This is like only stuff that's like people just shitting on this guy.
I mean, they could have hired somebody else, couldn't they? I don't know, but whatever. On basses, by the way, I will put forward again that the bass six is like really fucking fun to play.
Oh yeah, I mean I have a friend who's a bass six enthusiast, and he swears by it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like
I don't
honestly,
know.
I feel like when I was playing bass in bands and stuff, I should that it would have been cool to have that. But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, whatever. Let's do some apes then on a completely different topic,
apes,
which is technically the purpose of this recording. So,
apes. Shit. Okay. I hope I do this episode justice because I feel like it kind of went in one ear and out the other.
hmm.
Welcome to podcast 1999, the podcast about cows.
Actually, do that one more time because when you did your welcome, the mic blew out.
Welcome to podcast 1999, the podcast about cows.
Moo.
She's dying.
Well, every cow has to die eventually, but
Ring
not
the
every cow
bell.
gets to live.
But what is
Freedom
truly
for the
living
cows.
unless you're eaten by humans?
Yummy, because you can't leave a cow in a room with humans for more than like 30 seconds before we will kill and cook and eat it.
That was so funny. Anyway, I'm Mark and this is Matt.
I am Matt. I don't get to say anything
That is
anyway.
Matt.
We're good
You're
seeds,
Matt.
right? Not
Yep.
bad seeds like that damn Macaulay Culkin.
I mean, whatever. You have a kid, so you're a good seed. I don't know about me.
Hmm. Well, we need an S because this episode is the good seeds. So you own
Yeah.
that. It's
I mean,
time for you to own.
I haven't murdered any cows.
So I guess so
Directly.
far we're kind of getting the more ambitious episode, and then the less ambitious episode seems to be the beats so far with Escape from Tomorrow. Then the Gladiators is just it was fun, but it's kind of there. And then the Trap was great, and now it's kind of like this is kind of Gladiators level. Am I right? Am I wrong?
This is a fun little can I call it like a diversion that's a TV trope? You find the family out in the middle of nowhere and you help them with their business. You help them figure out how to do stuff.
Kevin Costner does this stuff all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet Michael Landon on Highway to Heaven just walks into town and does this, helps apes farm.
The angel is touching apes, I
Yep.
guess. Touched by an apple. I don't know.
Naval. Okay, sure.
But
Aped by a
you know, I didn't have a bad time watching this. I didn't feel time crawl. That was nice because I was watching it last night, and sometimes, you're getting sleepy, and it's like, I gotta finish this before I go to bed, and yeah, it was fine.
This episode gave me just enough to chew on because there were every once in a while really weird lines dropped.
I
Like,
did
don't direct me, wife.
I did write "shut up, female."
Yeah, that was like the last one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
apes do not chomp at bits.
That was a weird one. I'll screw
Yeah.
you up. This is a transliteration or paraphrasing or whatever, but I'll screw you up with a corn knife. What is a corn knife?
I think it's like a knife to shuck corn.
I mean, but last week we got that like crazy shiv shoved in Urka's glove. So this week we just get a corn
Yeah.
knife.
Well, it's not, that was the city and this is the country.
Right. I
There's
guess maybe I'm in the
else.
world of the apes. I'm a city ape, not a country ape, because they do a good job of making bumpkin apes in here, I guess.
Yeah, they're fun bumpkin apes. I
It's
mean,
like the Waltons of Planet of the Apes, I guess, or whatever.
but it's like they all have different personalities and they want different things. I feel like this is such a basic thing that is botched by TV a lot. Yeah, it's
Well,
just like
let's get into
okay,
if this episode botches it or not. But first, I
yeah,
think we should do your trivia before too much water passes through the windmill.
okay. This
Wind
is
passes through the windmill.
interestingly, this was production number B501, meaning it was the first episode produced, which means that when I say Don Weiss is back to direct the second of two episodes, I mean that actually, when he was directing the pilot episode, he was back to direct his second of two episodes. Interestingly, this is the only episode of the series with no other humans besides Burke and Virden. The writer this week is Robert W. Lenski, born in 1926. He doesn't have much of a bio on IMDb and was a mostly TV writer who started working in the field only a few years before the show was made, though he was nominated for 3 Primetime Emmys. Aside from the two episodes he wrote of Planet of the Apes, including this one, you can see his work in Brinks, The Great Robbery, Bronk, and Breathing Lessons. He continued to work up until his death in 2002. As for our guest stars this week, Lonnie Chapman stars as Polar, not to be confused with Tolar from The Gladiators. Born in 1920, he was one of those character actors who you would see everywhere. His acting career started early and then was interrupted by World War II, but he got back to it, earning a degree in drama and studying at the Actors Studio, forging lifelong friendships with other actors like Martin Landau. In the early 70s, he formed the group Repertory Theater and served as its artistic director until his death. This is his only appearance on Planet of the Apes, but you can also see him in The Birds, The Bad News Bears Go to Japan, and Return of the Big Cat. As Anto, we have Jeffrey Deuel. That's Deuel. Born in 1943, mostly appearing as a television actor, choosing the acting life, although his parents wanted him in law school. He's best known for appearing as Billy the Kid in the John Wayne film Chisholm. You can also see him in Mannix, Barnaby Jones, and Ironside. Jacqueline Scott appears as Xantes. Born in 1931, she began her stage career by winning a tap dancing contest at age 3, then was discovered while studying acting and working as an administrative position at RCA. She too is a mostly TV actor, but she did appear in Spielberg's Duel, Mission Impossible, and in the Twilight Zone episode The Parallel. That's one of the long ones. She'll be back in Planet of the Apes playing a different character, Kira, not to be confused with Zira. As Remus, we have Bobby Porter back again. He might remember him as Cornelius from Battle of the Planet of the Apes, or as Arno from the pilot of this series. That's right, now
In
he's
the
Remus.
future.
In the future. This will be his final appearance in the series, unless you count wait, no, Battle of the Planet of the Apes didn't take place in the future of this, though.
No, I'm just saying because the pilot was the third shot, so he's here first.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing that shtick again.
Okay, in the future, go back and listen to the first episode of this podcast to hear him. Uh, Finally, as Julia, we have Eileen Dietz. Born 1944, she had a twin who did not go into act, but Eileen did become extremely famous for portraying the demon's face in The Exorcist right before this series came out, which explains her filmography being predominantly horror films, especially in later years. You can see her in Beverly Hills Exorcist, Las Vegas Frankenstein, Clown Motel 2, and she may be the only actor we talk about on this podcast who's appear on Tim and Eric's awesome show. Great job. She's still cranking out the on-screen terror as of this recording. And that's it.
Okay. Did you have a look at the Apes Wiki on this one? There's some interesting stuff here. One, there's
I missed that.
since this is the first TV Guide article, excuse me, since this is the first episode, TV Guide did an article on it, which has some interesting stuff with
Mm-hmm.
his arm on Galen's shoulder. Vice says, Roddy, I wonder if when you first see the gorillas riding up, he's interrupted by the voice from deep inside the chimp mask. Excuse me, but I'm not Roddy McDowell. I'm Roddy's double. Oh, right, said Weiss, recovering quickly. So everyone's confusing everyone else. See that gorilla getting a makeup? No, he's like, after this is now Roy Harper. After a while, you learn to recognize them by body shapes and their quirks and movements. See that gorilla getting a makeup touch? Tom, hey, Tom. The gorilla, unheeding, walked away. Sorry, said Harper. So it's not Tom. Well, I know it's not Ronnie, so it must be Eldon. So Curry says out of this unintentional but cruel alienation to damage the psyches of the TV apes. I wondered about the set between takes to see what might be preoccupying them when they weren't on camera, blah, blah. But yeah, it's talking about, like the even on the show was that weird like kind of self-clicking of humans and apes, and then the ape types would hang out together. So interesting bit of human psychology there. And then
Oh
later on,
wow.
this seems to be from somewhere else, but it has Roy Harper talking about CBS's response to the first episode, which is he says, I liked the Good Seeds. I liked it a lot. It was warm and it was not terribly violent. But once the series was on the air, we were told that the network wanted more action. All the sentimental, warm, folksy stuff is great, but that ain't Planet of the Apes. Get those apes out there with the guns and have them start shooting some people and fighting. Get some action going. Forget that sentimental crap.
I feel like maybe TV executives don't know anything.
No, this is fine as episode 4. It's just interesting as the first made. Like I can see an exec kind of checking in on this one. Apparently they just wanted to get all the before they did the pilot, they just wanted to get some, the standard stuff flowing, I suppose. So,
I thought it was pretty interesting that, I mean, I watched the entire thing before I saw it was first in production order, that the humans seem to be delivering shtick a lot more rapidly in this. And there are actually parts where it seems to be confusing the chimps, which is kind of fun.
yeah. So I guess that didn't take off because they had to be more action hero-y from the notes
They,
from
they
CBS's notes.
might have just told them to tone it down, tone down the shtick, because it's
Right.
just it's kind of ridiculous.
Well, here is a story on this one. Our three fugitives are walking off in another direction when Galen stumbles and seriously injures his leg. They take refuge with a family of chimpanzee peasant farmers while Galen recovers. Verdun impresses most of the family with his farming knowledge, and he is able to make their farm more efficient and productive. Oldest son Anto is not won over, however. To become an adult and start his own farm, he must have one of his cows bear a bull, and he believes the visitors are cursing his cow. They evade a search party of General Urko's pursuing guerrillas, and Verdun midwives the cow, winning over the suspicious Anto. The fugitives then wander off in another direction. Maybe Galen limps off in another direction a bit. You can't tell because he's doing that chimpanzee walk. Is he limping or
Yeah.
is he chimping?
He's chimping, limping,
Somehow that
and
felt offensive when I said
simping.
that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey
He's
man,
not chimping at the bit.
chimping or limping? Yeah, it sounds kind of like some. I don't know what that slur means, but it feels
Let's
slurish.
just not use the word slur at all.
Okay.
I don't think it is one.
Right.
Um, so yeah, do, are you kind of? I felt like I was kind of concerned for ape civilization because they're like too dumb to farm, even though they control everything.
Well, I mean, they have some basic farming. They haven't. I guess in like Middle Ages farming would be like this, right? And then
I guess.
and then come
But
the 18th, 19th century, you get a lot of innovations. I mean, the way a farm runs now is certainly not the way a farm ran 300 years ago.
I guess that's an interesting theory. My thought was just like, well, this is the predominant species and they're never going to get any smarter than this.
So
They're never
you're
going to learn
you're you're
anything.
biased against apes, saying they can only be this smart and no smarter.
Well, I mean, they're kind of dumb about the history thing, aren't they?
Yeah, and I guess even Galen, while probably more likable than the Roddy apes in the movies, doesn't seem as smart, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we didn't have this discussion with the original movie because uh dear Cornelius and even Zaius seem to be quite smart, which no one in this show seems to be that smart. We spent what, like 2 minutes with Zaius, so I don't know about him in here, the different Zaius. Urko's kind of an idiot. Um Galen's not quite as sharp. So the humans are smarter, but the apes are dumber in the show.
I mean, maybe they're just it was just the way it was framed where they're fitting into a larger since they're fitting into a larger world here, they kind of can't know everything, but then the original film, it's like Zeus, for all we know, Zeus is like the king of Earth. We don't even we don't see anything outside of that small encampment.
Right.
So
I mean, in the
yeah,
movies, I almost come to believe that there really is just one ape settlement, and most of the world is a wasteland.
it's
It's like
I guess that's possible. That just
have
seems
you seen the movie Oblivion?
no,
Okay,
not
spoilers
like
on
a world full of
Oblivion.
Tom Cruises.
Basically, but the one we follow, like the world is basically a wasteland in Oblivion, but Tom Cruise still has this little vacation home in a like one spot that still has like plants and flora and fauna and stuff. So he's got this one little oasis that's his secret. And I'm wondering if in the movies, so the TV show weirdly is bigger scale. Like they got the map on the wall, right? They're moving from town to town. I mean, the towns look the same, but they're at least different towns. So.
Yeah, um, I don't know. It's like it's kind of nice that you could kind of just have the show go on forever if you just can commit to not like revealing the entire world.
Well, they are revealing a lot of the world, but yeah, it seems like it's
Yeah,
because it's in the movies. It's like Ape City, Wasteland,
I
and
mean,
here, I guess they're well, we've seen wrecked cities. We haven't seen a wasteland. They haven't really gone out into the desert in the show, have they?
yeah, it's like how much of the entire world can you travel through if you're only on a horse?
Yeah, well, give
And
some weeks.
most,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is interesting. You can ride a cow, but you can't ride a horse.
yeah,
No, peasant apes can ride cows. Humans could ride
no.
nothing. Was that the rules of this community?
I think it's like apes. If you're like a landed ape, you can ride a horse or official.
If you're a maid
You
ape,
can't. Yeah, if you're a maid ape, you can't be like a regular ape.
right?
Like Galen, I think it's illegal.
Hmm. Right.
So
And it seemed like the gorillas do seem to have I guess not a lot more power. They had power in the movies too, but we're definitely, it's like we got Galen, the humans, and the gorillas, We don't, and we see
mhm.
very few orangutans. So have we seen any except for Zaius?
I don't think so.
Maybe
Because
the
like
orangutan makeup's more expensive. I don't know.
seen a lot more humans than I expected to, and I was surprised to find out that we're gonna see humans in like every other episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You like humans, right? Humans are
Yeah,
stinky.
I like humans. I love to joke about I don't like you stinky humans, but no, I do like humans, and
They do
I
run
don't
around a lot
care.
more in this episode without their shirts on, like they're trying to get like that, Heston vibe of Heston running around barrel chested the whole movie.
Yeah. I don't even if these were cool looking like advanced Andy Circus apes, I wouldn't just be like, ah, damn it, I wish there were more apes. I'm tired of these humans. It's like just acting is acting. So, if the acting's good, that's all that matters. But
Do
and the
you
story.
do you think Verdon's farming knowledge is too convenient because he's an astronaut? He does say he grew up on a farm, so I guess he's the James T. Kirk thing. Born in Iowa.
Eh,
I don't know why I'm
yeah,
doing it with that accent. I
I think
guess it's
there's a
fine. It's
pretty
baked in
good
well enough.
overlap. But I mean, I don't think every every farmer is not an astronaut, but every astronaut could have been a farmer.
Yeah.
If that makes
Every
sense.
farmer is an astronaut. I'm going to start using
Every
that as a phrase.
farmer is an astronaut. Yes. I had to put that in the description of this podcast.
Right. No, that would be good on a t-shirt, right?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know, like I don't know, I'd rather send a farmer into space than like a um influencer.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, they'd make annoying videos, wouldn't they?
I was just thinking of the
Yo, yo,
person
this
who
your
I would
boy. I'm
throw under the bus.
weightless. I'm just hurled.
Now, I'm going to show you in 30 minutes why space is actually making you lighter and what you can do about it.
Lighter how? Like in weight?
Well, I'm going to show you in this next 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Why is your video
First,
so
this is
long?
how gravity works. Because I'm not a TikTok person, I'm being a YouTube person.
Oh, okay. I did just watch the one the one on audio animatronics from Defunctland where they go into like nitty-gritty detail on the mechanics of animatronics. So
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one yet.
it's pretty new. But
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Have you
man, they don't put out stuff very often anymore, so I have to
nope.
check that
Have you
out.
ever tried sleeping standing up? He says, I'm so tired I could sleep standing up. Have you done it? Have you managed to sleep standing up?
I actually, part of why I quit being a DJ like 25 years ago was because I started falling asleep while I was doing it because I was getting bored.
No, a few
I was
weeks
not
ago
trying to.
I had that like sciatic nerve pinch, so lying down like wasn't working. So I was like, I think I was trying to sleep standing up, and it was cold, so I was like,
Mm.
turned myself into a burrito, and I was like kind of in the corner, actually back there. I was like, maybe I can cram myself between the door and the wall there. So it
I'm
didn't work, by the way.
I'm actually very afraid of like falling and hurting myself, especially my head. So I probably would be very cautious about falling asleep standing up.
Right. Well,
Um,
two nights of major sciatic thing, you start to get a little crazy.
mm.
It's like maybe I can manage it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think I've had a sciatic thing, but
Mm-mm.
I just have a thing with my right arm where it is all messed up, so I kind of have to sleep on my left side, but that's, doable.
I thought this episode had pretty good lady chimps. Just since the original
Yeah.
movie, of course, had Kim Hunter and Natalie Trundy. I was like, the ones in here are not like an embarrassment or anything. They're pretty good.
Oh, the scene between was it Julia and Galen was very interesting and unhinged.
I think
That
that's when
was a
I wrote
great
the.
scene.
I think that's when I wrote my note that
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 was a
they
great scene.
yeah, yeah. So that yeah. So because we haven't seen that in the other three episodes. I don't think there were any female characters in the trap, if I remember correctly. Oh, there were
No,
the
but I
humans, but yeah.
but I think Kira is gonna come in as his like ex or something like that. So I'm actually pretty excited for that. Galen is a pretty interesting weird guy, and
Yeah, he needs to get
I
harangued
like
by his ex a bit. I agree.
he was yeah he is such a like ex. He's such an ex.
On the other
And I'm
hand, Anto,
speaking as
I
one
wrote I
myself.
wrote Anto as an idiot chimp. So
Yeah, he's kind of sucks.
yeah,
He's but
I'm gonna
he's
kill
like
you guys because your presence is cursing my cow.
but when he's ringing the bell and just saying she's dying, it's so funny, dude. He's such a maniac.
My note was
Um
for Cal the bell tolls.
that Cal was really doing a good job at playing dead. I was like, God,
Weird
that guy.
cow ceremonies, yes.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's like there's always some weird stuff in ape culture. This is one of the weirder ones. It's like, yes, humans are cursed as a cow, and the cow has to give birth to what was it? The cow has to give birth to a bull, or else he won't inherit the farm, or something like that.
He can't
I
start a
didn't.
farm, I think is what it was. My brother the cow, yes.
Yeah, and now they're
Um,
named Burke and Virden.
yes. Right, right, right. Which, well, okay, they're bulls, so that makes sense. Yeah, he's got two bulls. He can
Sure.
start two farms now.
Or the bulls will kill each other.
Right. I do think they make it pretty clear, though, this is like a weird corner of apedom, right? This isn't like the normal stuff that goes on or
These are like what Mennonite apes?
something like that. I mean, think about the community in Gladiators is quite different, mostly because it had a bunch of humans, but that guy was running things there very different than the apes here running things here. So it's not, I think they're doing a pretty good job of not making it a monoculture in this show.
Yeah, I think a dystopia by definition kind of has to have a bunch of just messed up little pockets of ape. I was gonna say humanity, but it's like ape manity,
Ape manatee,
apey,
apedom.
apedom. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there's gonna be a bunch of weird stuff, which is
But
kind of
again, it's
cool
only a dystopia for humans. It's just life for apes. This is ape culture. There's no dystopia.
because like the whole thing from the first movie where a lot of it was religious, and we kind of didn't really get that ever again, really. I guess Beneath technically was kind of religious, even
Oh,
though that
that's
was
that's with the
mostly like
mutant humans. And then Battle's got the
yeah.
lawgiver, which is almost like a religious thing, right?
Well, that's I mean he's a narrator
I guess he's
from the
more like I
future.
guess he's yeah, and I guess he's more like a Socrates or some more of a philosopher. He's
Yeah,
Confucius ape.
he's one of the well, yeah, he might be a religious figure like in the future of that timeline, but
Yeah, I guess
still,
Confucius is the best thing because he was never. I mean, I don't, he that's not really religion, right? So, but it's kind of
yeah, not really.
like you throw him in with the other religious figures now, right?
I mean, I'm sure somebody has committed atrocities in the name of Confucius.
Hmm,
Not me.
not yet.
Not yet. Wait till this
Um,
podcast is over. I'm going down to Walmart and I'm gonna just yell at
commit
people,
atrocities.
Confucius, say execute man in front of you, and then I'll kill him. And, and if I actually did that, then that would make this like the movie Seven, like the perfect crime. Like I said what I was gonna do, and then I did it,
Right.
and it came true.
Mm. Um, let's
Just
see.
call it my movie Confucius.
You'll get the wrong audience coming expecting something very different. Well, you just go straight to the Machete sequel. It could be called Confucius Kills.
Sure. I mean, God, you can make a movie. I guess that's horror 101, right? You can make a movie about anyone killing for any reason. You just say the reason in the title of the film. Like Silent Night Dead. You've seen Silent Night Deadly Night, right?
At some point in time, not recently.
It's mostly just like a guy dressed as Santa, but like so if I told you this guy dressed up as Santa and murdered people, what would you assume his behavior was?
Like
What do you
Billy
think he would be
Bob,
acting like?
like Billy Bob Thornton and Bad Santa.
Like, okay, what do you think he would be yelling at people when he kills them?
Mm.
Anyway, I'm asking you this because predominantly what he does is scream, "Punish!"
Okay, you know what?
He screams "Punish" a lot.
I've seen the second one. I remember seeing taping the second one off cable and watching that, but I don't think I've seen the first one.
Yeah, the second one has like 30 minutes from the first one pasted into it, right?
Oh, well, I guess I've seen some of the first one then. Okay.
I haven't seen the second one, but no, the first one is definitely worth your time. It's very silly,
See,
but
my exact age, renting and growing up in the late 80, like really starting to rent things around 88, 89. Now you're watching like Revenge of the Nerds 2 and Mannequin 2, and you're not watching the originals for some reason because they're back in the store and they're usually out, because they've got one copy.
well,
So
yeah,
you're
and I would
watching the
see things on
weird
TV.
crap sequel. You're watching Caddyshack 2.
I mean, on TV where I watched a lot of things, like they only showed Phantasm 2. They never showed Phantasm. I didn't see Phantasm 1 until I
That's
was like
another one.
30.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many things where it's like I saw the crap sequel because they have 30 copies of that. It's a new release and they had like one copy of the first one.
Yeah, and Howling 3 and 4 were the only ones that showed on TV.
Yeah.
Howling 1 is really good, and I did not see that until I was a full adult, you
Well,
know?
crap for 8 and 9 year olds, right? If 8 and 9 year olds trying to watch genre movies, especially in the late 80s, are going to end up in the wrong place. I guess now you can get on YouTube
Yeah.
and at least watch things that are like, legit. I mean, well, the
Oh,
video being posted there's not legit, but the movie's legit.
I mean, I could watch anything I want now,
Right,
ever,
right. I mean,
forever,
yeah,
forever
yes.
and ever.
It's not. I'm just saying, late '80s, West Coast video vibe. You end up watching crap sequels a lot.
Wow, Howling 3 is a 3.5 on IMDb.
Ah,
It's like straight up would be in the bad list if it didn't have if it had more than 5.7 thousand ratings.
Referring to our film podcast where we look at movies with bad reviews and good reviews. Just our ratings, I should say. Um,
Oh yeah, it was Australia. That's right. It was the vampires appear in like they're sort of kangaroo vampires in Australia.
yeah. A couple more notes I have, I just want to throw out is the gorillas really don't try that hard when they visit the farm. They're pretty
No.
easily convinced away. And Urko's there. You'd think he'd be a little more aggressive. I mean, his what he sounds aggressive, but Mark Lenard, of course, doing his thing. But yeah, it's kind of not anticlimactic. I guess it's just like it lets the air out of the balloon real fast.
Yeah, but the reason that he really gives up being that these cows are still alive so the humans must be gone is so funny that I didn't care at that
Okay.
point.
Yeah,
Like
I guess
that
the
that
reason's
did it for
fantastic.
me. If he really had just turned around because he's like, if they hadn't have given that like slam dunk reason, then it would have been frustrating. But I was like, that's fun.
And I guess, from the trap, last week's episode, filmed much later, Urko, we do see Urko's reasoning powers are somewhat questionable. So his
Yeah.
ability to, that's why I'm like, are they dumber in the show? The humans a little smarter, the apes are a little dumber.
Well, I don't know if I'd assign just dumbness to them more that just TV has to be dumb in order for it to continue on forever.
Hmm. Yeah. And then at the end, they're like, let's go west. West is a good direction. But we know they're on the coast, the California coast, because we saw that last week. So that's a
Hmm.
terrible direction. They'll be pinned against the ocean.
Maybe apes are afraid of water.
Okay. But Galen's with him, so I guess he just gets over his fear.
Maybe gorillas are afraid of water.
Okay. We'll find out maybe next week. Um,
Maybe Urko is afraid of water.
that water.
Ah.
I don't know. Maybe Urko's afraid with water. Okay.
I'm excited to get more Urko lore, even though there probably won't be anyone. It's probably just going to be him
Well,
showing up
just
and
him
being
showing
menacing.
up and being angry and grumbling is pretty good. So
Yeah.
I can live with that. Oh, there was
So,
some. I did notice there's the 1 second of stock footage from Ape City, like from the first movie, but it was like clearly like a third generation copy, and it just looked like garbage for that second. Just this
I
fun
didn't
70s
notice.
TV production notes. I mean, yeah.
So, yeah, that we do get like a few tidbits about how crappy this world is in this. There's no hot water. There's no reward. There's not even if they'd just given a reward for turning in the humans, then they would have been screwed, right? There's not even a reward for turning in the humans. Apes can't ride horses if they don't have any money or land, I guess.
I think we are getting the worst of ape life in this movie. Like this is the backwoods bumpkin family.
It's interesting how they're just not afraid to kind of lean in a little bit to like, this place sucks.
This is like
You
the
don't
Blue
want to
Hills
live
of
here.
Kentucky of the Apes, which that could have been another movie title that included this episode.
Yeah. The dirt mound of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah, you still have to say
Uh,
planet, don't you? So it'd be the Blue Hills of
of
Kentucky of the planet
Kentucky
of the
of
apes.
the Blue Hills of Kentucky, formerly the United States of America of the Planet of the Apes.
There we go.
That's my
And
title.
there's got to be a title generator that throws it at you in like apes font, where you could just write like really long, absurd titles, but all of them have to end with Planet of the Apes, of course.
Yeah. A frog on the log on the bump on the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. That's always been the conundrum with this franchise. Like they start off with a title so long, like anything else you make just becomes horribly convoluted? This TV
Yeah.
show is the most pared down. They're like, okay, Planet of the Apes, TV show, episode titles, works out. But yeah, I had to like sit around and like really think about how to post these episodes as well. So like
Yeah.
like just titles, for the podcast. Because if I just say
Um,
the good seeds, it's like, what? What's that? So I need to find some way to make. So I've just been using the POTA abbreviation in the hopes that most geeks will recognize that.
ah, I mean, you could just said the good seeds of the planet on the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, maybe that's what I should do. I should just change all the episode
Yeah.
titles to sound like movie titles.
Yeah.
The Trap of the
Escape from
Planet of the
Tomorrow.
Apes, the Gladiator, Escape from
Yeah,
Tomorrow from the
from the
Planet of the
planet.
Apes.
Yeah, that works. It works perfectly.
Maybe I should start doing that. I don't know. Although
Only I'm
that's
only way late on that, but
yeah. Well, you can always go back and revise that.
can you? I thought
Yes.
you had to like re-upload the things or
No.
some nonsense. Oh,
No,
good.
no, I've already done, we're doing too much inside baseball. I've already like changed it like 3 times, wondering which way is most efficient.
Okay. One actual. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know how to go into this topic. Actually interesting and kind of stark part of the episode is where they're kind of the gorillas are kind of coming and he's like, "You'll work for me. You'll work as if I owned you." And they like really kind of that's like this thing where they really get kind of arch they like just completely freeze up. It's like, where did we just go here? And then Remus is like, one of them's mine. That
Well,
like sort of diffuses the tension, but also makes it more tense.
this
Because in that moment, I was like, oh God. Are they like, oh man, are they like just straight up entering into a slavery? And this is how it starts.
I guess that's
Um,
indentured servitude because it's for 2 weeks. But like you said, that becomes a scam. It's kind of I feel like this is kind of like if you did go up to North Georgia and went on a small dirt road and then told the family there you'd be their slave for 2 weeks. That would be kind of weird. How would that
I,
go?
I think in most cases, people who are willing to hide you out in exchange for work. Well, I don't know what to say in most cases. In a lot of cases, it's not, they don't
I
have
mean,
the best intentions in the world.
no, but yeah, I mean, I they don't except for the son who's just kind of a superstitious idiot. I mean, they don't necessarily paint this family as too bad. But yeah, like you said with Ramus was it?
Remus.
Yeah, Ramus with him just be I'll take ownership of you. Then I'm like that's kind of weird. Yeah, but I don't
It was
know. I
dark. It's like
yes, I
some,
guess well that's I guess they're just trying to bake in a little bit the stratified society here, like no even the lowliest ape is above the human.
yeah, but that is a terrible, it's like Sid from Toy Story. Like the child, the child that wants to own you is like the scariest thing, right?
But Sid was a he was more of an alchemist, right? Didn't we have the conversation where he's
Oh
way more
yeah.
creative than Andy, right?
Yeah, he
Um,
belongs on Etsy.
yeah.
Um, but no, but he works in the garbage business,
Now he's in the
which
garbage business, which
that's where everyone who's creative belongs.
yep,
Garbage business.
yep, yep.
Um,
Creative garbage heads, but I don't know. I
so
guess he's
that,
got at least got a steady job with the city and probably his health benefits.
yeah, he's probably doing better than Andy is. Um, did you like have any feelings during that scene, or did you just kind of go right past it?
It stuck out. I didn't like maybe think about it too hard, but I mean, they're still doing better off than the corralled humans in the movies in that situation. So, again,
Yeah,
just being able to talk is and being allowed to talk is a big difference.
yeah, it's true. And and well, clearly they've these people kind of take them in as a family,
Mm,
sort of, as
right.
close as it's gonna get, I guess, to just people trusting them and caring about them and taking care of them.
But
Um,
let's take it to questions, I guess,
mhm.
because this might factor into the how much of this is existential dread and how much of this is sci-fi slash adventure fun, I guess. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, this one didn't have me very dreadsy, except for the slavery angle and the obvious constant gorilla threat.
mm,
So I'm gonna say like 33% dread and 77%. Wait,
do math.
did I not do that right?
You didn't do that right. 66.
Damn it. 60,
66.6. You're giving it sci-fi fun of the devil.
33, 60, 33, 67. Fun.
Okay, sure. Oh, I was thinking 33.3 and then 66.6. That's what you should do
I
because
guess I
it
could
comes
do
out
that. I
satanic
don't know.
that
It's
way.
not very satanic because the Exorcist face is in this. So it's like 66.6% fun.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I
sure.
didn't I didn't find so much dread in here, except like you mentioned, I have a low score, but yeah, because you mentioned the slavery thing that adds in. And also, Verdon just kind of trails off and starts having his own existential dread at one scene, right, where he remembers his family. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit there that they don't really do in the movies because Heston or Taylor doesn't really care about what he left behind, you know. So
Yeah,
that's
they don't, there are reasons not to give those characters any depth.
yeah. But yeah, so I'm going maybe, 20 dread, 80 on the fun side is basically where I'm uh doing that. Let's see
Yeah.
bananas. How many
I'm
bananas you want to give this one?
I'm giving this two bananas, one named Burke and one named Virden.
That's good. I was thinking it's a farm. Their farming yield has increased, so it's got to be 4 bananas.
Yep.
They got a windmill now, a little windmill.
Yeah, I guess if someone read that is that I didn't like this episode, then that wouldn't be cool. I just want to say that
It's just
two bananas does
bananas.
not mean that I like, yeah, it doesn't mean that I didn't like this episode. I did. I enjoyed it probably more than the Gladiators. Mm,
Hmm.
yeah.
I liked seeing Mark Singer in that one. That was fun, and I like the
Yeah.
dumb, terrible fighting in that one. Um, this one does not. We noticed that the first 3 episodes was all repurposing stuff, right? Where this one does not.
Yeah.
So it feels smaller, I guess, because it doesn't have like the most it does is give you a slightly blurry shot of Ape City, you know?
I love a good ensemble, and this is a good ensemble. This is a good, like, the family. There aren't, I don't know, so often you get like a family and then all of the characters are just the one character, or they're just the stereotypes, and these apes are weird and different.
Yeah, again, you
So
do feel like you're stumbling into the Waltons of the apes, you know? The Waltons of the
I,
planet of the apes.
yes, of course, the Beverly Hillbillies of Beverly Hills of California, formerly the United States of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Anto is now like John Boy, right?
I don't know. I've never seen the Waltons.
I haven't either. I just remember the name bandying around a lot. Like I said, I think
Good.
I've said that in an earlier episode. The Waltons came on when I was a kid. I was like, no, that's boring crap adults watch. And then I went to the Muppet Show.
Yeah, I don't. I grew up in the South. I don't really enjoy exploitation except for like Green Acres because that's like an absurdist, weird,
Yeah.
like insanity, and
I do
also
think
starring
there's something
not.
to as you get older though, hillbilly nonsense becoming more appealing, you know?
I mean, I'll tell you this: I didn't like. Actually extremely disliked the Three Stooges when I was a kid. Like I really didn't
Um,
like it.
I always
And
just would watch the one where Moe's Hitler.
sure, I I didn't like comedy where people were mean to each other. And now
Uh,
I'm totally fine with it.
okay, yeah. Like yeah, Duck Soup and the short were Moe's Hitler, but Duck Soup's much better. I
Mm.
ended up watching it a lot more in the end, but
I probably would have liked Duck Soup when I was a kid, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. But like the thing about hillbilly exploitation is just that people from the South are pretty smart
well, some of them are,
a
some of
lot
them
of
aren't.
times. A lot of time, well, yeah, although some of them aren't, but it's like I don't feel like I like yes, maybe the mannerisms might be a little slower in some cases. People walk slower, maybe they drive slower, but like there's still plenty of smart people and weird people. Like I don't feel like it serves like the weirdness enough. Whereas something like I don't know.
Well, this chimp family is pretty weird. Anto's a superstitious weirdo, and then we got the horny farmer daughter's ape, right? So,
Yes, that's why I like this. It's good because they're weird and they're maladjusted and interesting, but like also likable. So that's quite a feat
see,
to write
maybe
that.
that's where I like the gladiators a little better. I'm down with the CBS notes. I know. No, we need dumb violence in this. The apes need to be more violent.
Yeah, those ape, yeah, everything. But the apes weren't violent. It was just humans, and they were just violent for stupid reasons. And everyone was just like, kill, kill, sword, sword. It was just kind of the prefect was interesting, but
Yeah.
that was also sort of a thing where you're just waiting for him to accidentally or to catch Galen doing
But
trying
then
to
he
steal
becomes very
things.
gray area and kind of like gray area helps them in the end, you know?
Yeah, but I mean these I don't know, this family's kind of gray area the whole time. Like they
Yeah.
probably, you know, one of them could have turned them in at some point if there was a reward. Take notes, gorillas of the future. Offer a reward if you want people to help you.
Yeah, gorillas are
You think
extra dumb.
if there wasn't for the reward that was whatever that person messed up at McDonald's, then Luigi Mangione would still be loose if they had not for reward.
Right. Um, Anything else you want to throw out before we shut it down for the day?
Um, I don't I don't think that humans are bad luck for cows, but maybe we are.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what cows think of us. They're just like, hey, what's in this room? And then their heads chopped off, you know? I
Watch the Yeah, watch the heifers around Burke. That's something.
yeah. Okay, well, if you're digging this podcast, give a good rating and review for podcast 1999 on all the podcatchers and such. We do a lot of podcasting over at Podcastius, podcastio.org. Films and
Wait, you
Filth
said
is,
Podcastius Podcastio.
did I say it the other way?
Podcastio Podcastius.org.
Okay, my brain's backwards today. Films and Filth we mentioned, where we look at those IMDb ratings and target the ones with really high and really low ratings, sequentially. Time Enough Podcast, the Twilight Zone. Luke loves Pokemon. And what did he say that the Blue Sky was? Podcast. We got podcast on Blue Sky apparently. That's
Yes,
I feel like
podcast
that's an
podcast.
achievement. That's an achievement, right? Of some kind.
Yep. And you can never take it away from us, gorillas.
No. But if you put a cow in the room, you're gonna have steak in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I do not promise not to attack your cow. In fact, I promise I will.
Hmm. You're gonna attack the cows. Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
We done
I don't know.
that. I'm gonna hit a record, I guess.